This series is going to be the psychology of high performance, and this is another series from Ryan Mindset. We're going to be diving into a lot of the different skills and techniques that have made me successful, and I'm sharing them with you. Today, what we're going to be talking about is flow and why flow is so important. So getting into the flow state is really just a hack for achieving so much more. And let's first define what an actual flow state is. So a flow state is when you're working on some task and you just feel like, the time is just passing by and you're not even like paying attention. You're just so immersed in what you're doing. So a lot of times we, call this passion, which it is to some extent, but you can actually, immerse yourself in this flow state when, you're not like checking the time, checking the clock, or there's not anything interrupting you a bunch. I think that's the key insight in this situation because in today's world, there's so many different distractions and it's so easy to just be bombarded with different notifications and constantly just losing focus. Flow is a great way to combat that. And I'm going to talk about some personal experiences I've had with the flow state. And actually, even just like today, earlier this morning, I was working, just doing some kind of coding for some research, and just a solid 2 hours of flow state of just, locked in focus. I was able to achieve so much. And that's what people don't understand. It's like when you have this flow state, you're just so focused that you're able to have just hyper efficiency of your time, which is the most important thing if you want to become successful, because you have to use your time to the best possible way you can, because you don't have time to waste. And so how do we really set up conditions to ensure that we have flow state? Well, number one is you have no distractions. So this is definitely kind of hard, right? I mean, you can put your phone on Do Not Disturb, that's great, but also the environment too. It's like you don't want people, like your friends right next to you, constantly tapping you, asking you questions, stuff like that. That'd be very interrupting. You can still study at like a coffee shop or something, right? Or do work there. But it's like as long as people are not like actively asking you stuff and interrupting you directly, then you should be okay. Another thing I highly recommend is if you have some sort of music, not like super high energy music, but just something maybe without words, and that can just be like background. That's what I've found to be super helpful. And if also with the flow state, like with many different things, you're able to actually condition yourself. So one good example of this is, if you wear headphones for a certain activity, as soon as you put headphones on, you start to expect yourself to do that kind of activity. So if you only put on headphones when you do work, or you only put on headphones when you do exercise or something like that, you start to pair those two things together. So to achieve better flow state, you want to start to pair a lot of these different conditions together. So if you have headphones or earbuds, every time you use those set of earbuds, you should like make it so that you're going to try to enter flow state. And you should play a certain kind of music. It doesn't have to be the same song, but it's like you get used to this kind of music, you get used to this kind of environment that you're working in. And that just allows you to really put all your remaining energy into just the work that you're doing. Some things that are really good for flow state is stuff like coding, writing essays. Those types of things are really, really helpful. Why? Because typically you're able to find out if what you're doing is correct or like wrong or needs to be improved very quickly. Right? So with coding, you could just run the code and see there's errors and then you need to go back and fix that, right? Or for writing an essay, you can just read it and sound it out and just like figure out if you need to make changes. A lot of times though, like other things are harder, right? So if you have a bunch of short assignments together, you can try to bundle them. Because they're short assignments, it's not as easy to enter like a one long period of flow state. So flow state technically is like better for bigger tasks. You can still have a very focused work session, but that is a little bit different than flow state. Flow state is the kind of situation where you don't check your phone, you don't even check the clock, and the time just starts to pass. Another great one is actually video editing. This has happened to me too. It's like if you're editing a video and you're adding a lot of different like features and things like that, a lot of times you can just get so immersed in it and then you just forget about like outside time. And the reason I point these things out is because this kind of work should be really separated from the majority of other work that you do. Like you should realize that this work is very special when you're in your flow state because a lot of new ideas can come out of this. You can also just achieve so much more. And also a certain class of activities that you do during flow state, things you work on, need to be very distinctly different. You can't be expecting to like send out emails during flow state or, just doing these really short tasks, maybe work on your to-do list or like, just adding to your to-do list, planning out your day. Those types of really small, quick things shouldn't be reserved for flow state. You really want something that has a little more challenging level of kind of requiring your focus. That's the other part of flow state too, is that it can't be too easy and it can't be too hard. It needs to challenge you in the right way. If it's too hard, you probably won't be able to figure it out or know what to do, and then you'll just lose focus because you just don't know how to proceed. If it's too easy, you'll probably just like keep zoning out, or it's not really requiring that much effort from you, and so it's very easy to get distracted as well. So you want that like in-between sweet spot where it is like achievable, like you can actually do it, you can put in the effort and get the results from it, but at the same time it's a little bit challenging, and it's challenging you and like kind of forcing you to be, very focused on it. And that's really how you achieve flow. I think that if you haven't already, like just really try to set up a certain time of the day, get used to that as well. I think there's a lot of other like things that go into flow state, but if like you can figure out through experimentation, what time of day do you work best, or what time of day is there no distractions? Some people that's early morning, some people that's late at night. And if you can just kind of set that up, not every day, right? Maybe not every day, maybe every couple days, and just get used to those kind of conditions we mentioned. If you work in the same location, maybe with the same music, maybe with the same headphones, and then you're just locked in at the same time, it's very easy to just consistently have a very good flow state. So that was my tip for flow. This is going to be a whole series, so make sure you watch and continue for part 2. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below, but make sure you subscribe for more.